Let's get more now with our Home and Security editor, Mark White. And Mark, just to explain, you're joining us from outside a hotel at Maidenhead, which is where some of these migrants have gone. And this is the problem, that so many numbers coming through, trying to get them through the system means they're having to be holed up in these hotels.
Yeah, it's a perfect illustration of the problem that many communities right across the country are facing. Here in Maidenhead, the Holiday Inn, one of the main hotels in town, was taken over some 6 months ago. I was speaking to a young member of staff here, actually, who was employed here, then got made redundant during the time of COVID, was hoping to come back and work at the hotel, but just after the hotel was refurbished, after the COVID pandemic subsided, the owners of the hotel gave it over to these third-party contractors on behalf of the Home Office to house asylum seekers, and hundreds have been here for the past 6 months. Members of the community that have been coming out past us here today, some people have had good things to say about those in the hotel, a lot haven't. A lot are very concerned about the fact that many of these mainly young men are hanging about the streets, some of them drinking and up to antisocial behaviour, and otherwise just making a nuisance of themselves. So some concerns here which are replicated, as I say, in communities right across the country, and it's going to continue to be an issue as long as the boats keep coming. And once again today, Mark, hundreds have come across the channel, according to our producer in Kent. He filmed one sequence of a small boat on the beach. Now, this is at St Margaret's, which is between Dover and Deal. There were 10 people on this particular boat. Our producer thinks they may have been Albanian. Those 10 people ran off. 3 have since been apprehended, but 7 others have disappeared. No sign of them so far, but the authorities are continuing to check, Mark.
And looking to the other side of the channel then, Mark, where you've been many times assessing the situation there, we're being told that this deal could mean a 40% boost in the number of officers patrolling the beaches. But we've got, I think the estimate is some 30 kilometres of coastline there that they've got to deal with.
Well, yeah, actually longer than that. It's about 70 miles, actually, of coastline, Mark. And then if you take in the dunes and the woodland just off the beach, there's hundreds of square miles of terrain that the police would have to try to guard and check and make sure that the people are not mustering there with a view to getting down into the sea. And all the while, of course, the people smugglers try to change their tactics to thwart the police. Now, our team was in Dunkirk again over the weekend. They saw clashes between the French police and migrants who were clearly very frustrated because the police on this occasion, they were doing their job. They were stopping groups of migrants getting down towards the beach at Gravelines, which is just near Dunkirk. There was a couple of hundred involved in running clashes with the police, throwing stones and sticks at the police. The police responded with CS gas pepper spray that they used on the migrants to push them back as well. Now, we're told that as part of this deal, Mark, signed today by Suella Braverman and her French counterpart, there will be a 40% uplift in the number of police officers down on the beach. But history has told us that with this particular crisis, you can stop them one day. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come back and try exactly the same thing, maybe in a different stretch of this vast beach area another day.
And very quickly then, Mark, a task force, we're being told by Suella Braverman, to deal with the organised crime element, which clearly, as you've been indicating, is behind the supply of the boats in particular.
Yeah, so we're told greater cooperation, more money to have high tech in the with the likes of drones and other sort of equipment that will help get a better read of what's going on there. Closer liaison with British officers going over to work in the control rooms. But we've heard this kind of rhetoric before. We were just looking actually back at a news release that came out exactly a year ago from one Priti Patel talking about millions of extra for the French to increase cooperation, to put more security forces on the beach. What did it do? Nothing at all. They've come in ever greater numbers since then.
Yeah, and of course we'll see what the weather does in these weeks ahead with storms forecast, certainly for the end of this week. But Mark, outside that hotel in Maidenhead, thank you for updating us on that.